Okay, please open your workbook to handout 18A, the exploded moment model. I'm going to read the following exploded moment model so that we can try planning our own exploded moment. And I told you needed color pencils today, but you don't have to have them. On the screen, you'll see that I am using some colors to code parts of the narrative structure. So I'm using an S for setting, C for characters, A for action, P for problem, and E for ending. So you really don't need to have colors because you're going to be underlining and using those letters, but you can color code if you would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and get my colors out. I need red, green, purple, blue, and black. Okay, so I have my colors. I'll give you a minute to choose your colors, or you can just use your pencil or red pen and use letters to code. So while you're getting that ready, I'm going to read through this one time, and then we'll go back through and then we will code it. So, the abandoned bridge. Mary McQuitter waved for Milo Talk and the humbug to follow her out of her office. I'm going to meet with the construction crew building the bridge over the Persistence River. They have a problem, Mary McQuitter said, as Milo Talk and the humbug ran to catch up. We wanted to talk to you about that, Milo called. We're on our way to Digitopolis, but the road ended. The bridge doesn't cross the river the whole way. Is there another way over the Persistence? Nope, no other way unless... Instead of finishing her thought, she began to tell them more about the town of Abandon. Oh, here we are, she exclaimed. A group of workers sat beside the river, sipping coffee. Behind them, Milo glimpsed wooden beams piled up on the banks of the raging river. Milo and the others stood back as the mayor walked over to the crew. They spoke briefly. The mayor smiled, shrugged, and then returned. Problem solved, the mayor called out. Great news! When will the bridge be done? Milo asked hopefully. Completed? No, too many problems. We're throwing in the towel, Mayor McQuitter replied. And this all should sound very familiar to you because it was part of her character snapshot. Oh, said Milo, that doesn't make much sense. Surely the problems can be solved. Do you mind me asking what the problems are? The mayor blew her cheeks up like a balloon and let out a breath. Well, to start with, the wooden beams we cut are too long and, well, you get the idea. No, not really, Milo began. Couldn't you cut the beams down to the correct size rather than quit everything? That seems like only a little problem, really. The mayor wrinkled her nose. Young man, there is no use wasting energy trying to solve these problems. It's easier to give up and move on to something else. Ever since Rhyme and Reason were banished from the kingdom, this way has worked well for us. Milo noticed this was the clearest thought the mayor had had since they'd met. Pardon me, I just thought, he began. You may keep your thinking to yourself, thank you. Now, crossing Persistence is out of the question. I recommend you head out of town the same way you came. It was very nice, too. But the mayor had already walked away. Milo Talk and the humbug exchanged a meaningful look. As they went off in search of their car, Milo thought to himself, how silly to give up whenever a problem seems too hard. They'll never accomplish anything around here. He felt more eager than ever to follow through on his mission to rescue Rhyme and Reason. Okay, let's go back and code. So, I noticed the characters right away, and they were in the very first paragraph. And my color for characters is green. So, in the first line, I'm going to underline Mayor McQuitter, Milo, Talk, and Humbug. Those are our characters, and I just marked them all with a C. Now, the setting actually happened in two places. Setting is red, and in line 1, the setting was her office. But then if you go down, I believe it's paragraph 2 and down to paragraph 6, the setting then becomes the bridge over the Persistence River. So I've got the bridge over the Persistence River, and then paragraph 6, we've got the river, and that there are wooden beams put up on the banks of the raging river. So now we have a description of our setting. Now, I do recall the problem that Milo is having. Milo is on his way to Digitopolis, but the bridge is out. And that is in paragraph 3. We're on our way to Digitopolis, but the road ended. And that's the problem. Now, we have all kinds of actions that are happening. We want to focus on the actions that have to do with Milo's problem. So actions I have are purple. So, first, the mayor talks to the crew in page 6. That's an action. Then in paragraph 9, she says, we're throwing in the towel. That's an action. And then, let's see, do we have any other actions? She says that the beams are too long. That's an action. And then Milo says, couldn't you cut them down to the correct size? That's another action trying to solve this problem. And then in paragraph 13, the mayor says it's easier to give up and move on to something else. That's her action. Now, the ending. This is one of those problems that doesn't really get solved. My ending is supposed to be in black. So it ends with the mayor saying, I recommend you head out of town the same way you came. And then she walks away. Now, in everybody's ending, at the very end, you have to show that Milo learned something from their interaction with their character. And Milo learns, he says, it's silly to give up whenever a problem seems too hard because nothing ever gets accomplished. That's part of the ending. Okay, so now we've mapped out all the narrative structure. We've identified the characters. They were Mayor McQuitter, Milo Talk, and the Humbug. The setting was the office, the bridge over the Persistence River, the river, and the banks of the river. The problem is that Milo wants to get out of Digitopolis, but the road ended. Then we had all those actions where the mayor was talking with the crew. She says they're throwing in the towel. She said the beams that they cut are too long, and Milo suggests that they cut them down to the right size, which really sounds like a normal, actual way to solve a problem. And she says, nope, it's easier to give up. And then it ends with the mayor telling him to go back the way he came, and she walks away. And it also ends with Milo learning that you shouldn't give up on a problem when it seems too hard, because nothing will ever get accomplished. All right.